Rest increases creativity.
Shalom, giving all praises to the Heavenly Father, Yahweh Bahasham, Yahweh Shai Bahasham, Rachachakorash. Double honors to the apostles, the bishops, and the elders at Great Millstone who rule well. Peace and salutations, as always, to the elect. News and prophecy, linking the things that we see happening throughout the four corners of the earth, right, especially here in Babylon the Great. We link these things to biblical prophecy to give the elect of Yahweh Bahasham Yahweh Shai, the faithful, the remnant, understanding that all of these things are the will of Yahweh Bahasham Yahweh Shai, and to not be moved, not to fret, and to ultimately only trust in the promises that were made to our fathers, that ultimately a remnant will be raised up and protected through all of these happenings, through their faith. All right, what we are witnessing worldwide is a controlled demolition of the economies. All right, and as it says in the book of Habakkuk, the second chapter, the just are going to have to live by faith because these plagues aren't going anywhere. And they were foretold, right? Just like our forefathers were in ancient Egypt. The Lord sent mass plagues upon that place before he exodus them out of that Egypt. And the same thing applies here, as this is now a spiritual Egypt. Okay? And, pretty much the main plague, of course, is sent by the Most High. But it's ultimately through your very own elites, all right, who are, very vicious, foul, insane, power hungry, and they don't care about human life. And pretty much to get everything in their control, we've witnessed, the hoarding of resources by them especially over the past 5 years. We've seen the controlled demolition of food plants. We've seen disruption in markets, the plague of COVID, pretty much, through that, many businesses were shut down, and things are only getting worse from that point. All right. And now, what's flooding the headlines is the war in Iran. Is Netanyahu alive? All right. Behind closed doors, these devils are moving forward with their technocracy. Okay. And disrupting the economies on purpose, because the elites need disruption and collapse. All right. So that the focus is taken off of them and more on a solution, which their solution is going to be peace and safety through entering into their system, bowing to their image, and taking their mark. Okay? And as you can see on the screen here, more plagues, as the scripture said in the book of 2nd Esdras, the 15th chapter, in the 11th verse, because the Lord's determination, all right, is to get us out of this spiritual Egypt. Okay? Verse 10, and this is end time prophecy, but it's talking about here, behold, my people is led as a flock to the slaughter. I will not suffer them now to dwell in the land of Egypt. So all of this is happening, including the war in the so-called Middle East, which is really Western Asia. All right. Which those are just skirmishes, but these things are leading, the moves being made are leading to disruption, okay, shortages, plagues, hail, oil shortages. All right. And it's eventually going to end in all out war. See, but these things are all happening because the Lord's determination is to deliver us out of this new spiritual Egypt. Okay. I will not suffer them now to dwell in the land of Egypt, but I will bring them with a mighty hand and a stretched out arm, Yahweh Shai, and smite Egypt with plagues as before, and will destroy all the land thereof. So the Lord's determination is to not only plague Egypt, but eventually destroy the whole land. As the scriptures say in the book of Joel, the 3rd chapter, right? Let's get that. Joel, the 3rd chapter. In the 19th verse, right? Which this talks about the nations being judged, World War III, the Lord, paying the heathen back for what they've done to his people. All right. The end result is what? Joel 3:9. Egypt shall be a desolation, and Edom shall be a desolate wilderness. Okay. And prophetically, we know the only kingdom that is promised to be utterly destroyed in a like fashion of Sodom and Gomorrah is Babylon the Great. All right. But here it gives you the code word of Egypt and Edom, which Edom is also prophesied to become a desolate wilderness because Esau, Edom rules Babylon the Great, this new modern day Egypt. He is the modern day Pharaoh. Okay. Egypt shall be a desolation, and Edom shall be a desolate wilderness for the violence against the children of Judah. All right. Is that racist? Because they have shed innocent blood in their land. Okay. So going back to where we were in 2nd Esdras 15 and 11, I will bring them with a mighty hand and a stretched out arm, and will smite Egypt with plagues as before, and will destroy all the land thereof. Egypt shall mourn, and the foundation of it shall be smitten with the plague and punishment that God shall bring upon it. They that till the ground shall mourn, and farmers, under Trump's policies of mourning, natural disasters are causing them to mourn. Their crops are failing. They kicked out, the workers that, they needed. These are, what they called illegal immigrants who were over here tilling their ground. They kicked them out. Now, all right, the Trump administration is acknowledging that it needs immigrant farm workers as it moves to cut their pay. So you kicked them out, mocked them. Now you're crying, all right, for them that you have a labor shortage, and this is causing farmers to mourn. Okay, and we've seen over the past years, farmers are in straits, having to either give their farms up. Some of them are committing suicide. They're crying. They're coming together, complaining. A lot of them thought Trump was going to, bring some form of aid and help, but only more hell because the elites don't want farmers anymore. Natural foods are pretty much a thing of the past. Moving into this new world, they won't need you. So all of these things are being done on purpose. Okay, they that till the ground, the farmers shall mourn, their seed shall fail through the blasting and hail and with fearful consolation. This is happening worldwide. An example, all right, citrus grow. This is in Turkey, right? Citrus growers brace for heavy loss after frost, drought, and heat wave. All right, and all we have to do is just look up how natural disasters are destroying, farming. All right, natural disasters, what they call global warming. All right, destroying farming crops. Just look it up. Okay, natural disasters are devastating agricultural production with drought, floods, and storms, causing tens of billions of losses annually. And see, these things are eventually going to affect your everyday life. We see it in the news, we see it, we've seen all of this, madness take place over these years. And, the people thought, okay, that's just that, that's just, no, but eventually these things are going to affect your everyday life. You see? And it's prophecy. We have to understand that this is the will of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. See, many of us came into this truth and we were happy to find out that we were Israelites, and some of you, put the fringes on, and some of you, joined camps, and, but now we're dealing with the bitter. It was sweet to find out, wow, this is why we went into slavery. Wow, this is who we are, but we have to also deal with the bitter aspect of how the Lord is going to exodus us out of here. It's through us witnessing plagues on the very captivity that we live in. Again, what did Baruch, the 4th chapter, say? Okay, let's get Baruch, the 4th chapter. So we got to get our minds right. We got to, keep the proper perspective as to the will of the Lord, so that we don't get flabbergasted and bug out through prophecies coming to pass. Okay, the cities, where is that at? Boom, there we go. So Baruch 4:29. Let's start at 28. For as it was your mind to go astray from the Most High, so being returned, seek him 10 times more. For he that brought these plagues upon you shall bring you everlasting joy with your salvation. Okay? And he did bring these plagues upon us. And whether you agree or disagree, it happened. You're in a low position as a nation. Take good heart, O Jerusalem, for he that gave thee that name will comfort thee. And the word Jerusalem means the teachings of peace. He's given us a culture that are associated with what's going to bring peace on earth, man. The law, statutes, and commandments just give us an insight into that culture. See that? Miserable are they that afflicted thee, and rejoiced at that fall. Just like Egypt and Pharaoh. Now they're miserable. Miserable are they that afflicted thee, and rejoiced at thy fall. Miserable are the cities which thy children served. So as we're in the cities that, of our captivity, we're going to witness misery of these cities. Miserable is she that received thy sons. See? And who's the she that received the sons? Babylon the Great. She's known as a great whore, right? Showing you women ain't innocent. That the Lord compared Babylon the Great to a whore. See? And how does she receive our sons? Via a slave trade. Right? The scriptures talks about how Tyre and Zidon and the coast of Palestine, which is the sub-Saharan slave trade between the so-called Africans and the so-called Arabs, right? The children of Ham and the children of Ishmael getting together, and even our own people helped them to sell us to the Grecians, which that would fit the bill of the so-called white man. Okay? Esau, Edom. Okay? Because, of course, the original Greeks were Japhetic, but Esau, Edom stole and ruled those lands, going back to Alexander the Great's father. And even before that, they had started dominating those lands. So the Grecians are fulfilled in Esau. We were sold to Esau. Okay, the northern kingdom was already over here getting beat down and destroyed, right? Judged. And then Judah, Benjamin, and Levi primarily, although you had northern kingdom on those slave ships as well, okay, were brought over to the Americas, okay, and that marked the reunion of Judah and Ephraim. See? And although it wasn't immediate, eventually the Lord will send the Holy Spirit in our captivity to where we will start to understand who we are and why all of these things happen unto us. Verse 33, for as she rejoiced at thy ruin and was glad of thy fall, so shall she be grieved for her own desolation. For I will take away the rejoicing of her great multitude. See, the Lord is taking away the rejoicing of Esau, Edom's great multitude. Let's get an example of that. Brother, let's just go here. And we'll get into that wildfire, but the Spirit just had me go here first. This is Arrows of Indignation 144. Reality is setting in on Esau. They're becoming unstable. All right. 2 through. Look at her.
How are these people still running this country? Our leaders are pedophiles. They enjoy raping children. Children! What are we doing?
Usual suspects. That's what they do with their high IQ. They go around setting up islands and pedo rings, just destroying lives. Can't blame that one on Pookie.
Bro, like, dude, I can't even do this shit no more. Like, fuck.
Hurt.
Like, dude, like, fuck this shit. Like, bro, what the fuck is this shit?
We are sacrificing our daughters and our sons to do this. Look at this generation. What in the world do you see? What do you see? It's demonic to its core. And we're feeding it with the broken bodies and the shed blood of our own children. And God's word says he hates this. It angers him. And what does the anger of God look like in the real world? Listen, church. Those that hate you will rule over you. In other words, we will be turned over to weak, inept, wicked rulers.
The curses have hit Esau, Edom. And they're starting to feel it.
Thousands of them. But there's millions of us. There's fucking millions of us. This shit needs to fucking stop now, and no one's doing it but us. Start getting together in small groups, in secure communication forums, and talk about how you're going to protect yourselves, protect us, and fucking fight back.
So upset that the things we did and the things we fought for and the boys that died for it, it's all going down the drain. Our country's going to hell in a handbasket. We haven't got the country we had when I was raised. Not at all.
If it were to be extended, it wouldn't really disrupt the U.S. economy very much at all. It would hurt consumers, and we'd have to think about, if that continued, what we would have to do about that. But that's like really the last of our concerns right now.
Yo, I think I'm really going to just fucking pull the plug. I can't live in this America. I can't make money. I can't get hired by a job. The gig work. Nobody's ordering shit on DoorDash, Instacart, Uber. Nobody has the fucking money to do that. So...
Hurt. Here's another one. So these cities are miserable. There's another one by him. Babylon's businesses are closing for good. Many fell in bankruptcy. Is Babylon great? Is America great again yet?
Said they're going to be closing up to 62 stores. Smoky Bones Barbecue has said that they're going to close 120 plus stores. Domino's Pizza said that they're closing 250 plus stores and they're filing for Chapter 11 bankruptcy. Papa John's is closing over 300 locations. Popeye's Chicken is closing 136 locations, and they are also filing for bankruptcy. Red Lobster is closing over 100 locations. Red Robin is closing 70-plus locations. Denny's is closing over 150 locations. Pizza Hut is closing over 250 locations. And Wendy's said that they're going to close a maximum of 600 locations. We're talking over 1,000 locations of fast food restaurants and food chains that are getting ready to close their doors. And you think this country is not in trouble?
Domino's Pizza is closing 250 plus locations and filing for Chapter 11 bankruptcy. Wendy's is closing 300 to 600 locations in 2026. Popeye's Chicken is closing 136 plus locations and also filing bankruptcy, mostly in Florida and Georgia. Papa John's is closing over 300 locations in 2026. Denny's is closing over 150 locations in 2026. Red Lobster is closing over 100 locations in 2026. Red Robin is closing 70 plus locations in 2026. Pizza Hut is closing 250 locations in the U.S. in 2026. Smoky Bones is closing 120 locations in 2026. It brings me absolutely no joy to bring you this information. However, it is the real facts of what is going on in the U.S. economy in 2026. Please don't spend any money. Please plan your spending, do a budget. If you found this post informative, although sad, please like, comment, follow, and share. It is important that you keep up on the economy and economic news because, as you see, it does affect you personally. These are thousands of restaurants that will be closing, which means these workers will be unemployed, laid off, and not spending money in the economy.
So again, verse 33, for as she rejoiced at your ruin, right, and was glad at thy fall, made billions off of it, push the image of you in your destroyed state all around the world. So shall she be grieved for her own desolation. For I will take away the rejoicing of her great multitude, and her pride shall be turned unto mourning. Okay, and this is talking about what? And the fire shall come upon her from the everlasting, long to endure, and she shall be inhabited of devils for a great time. And what is this talking about? This is talking about the destruction of Babylon the Great. That didn't happen to ancient Babylon. See? So amidst all of the war talk, all right, something that's not really being talked about a lot are these Nebraska wildfires that have scorched nearly 800,000 acres. A historic wildfire in Nebraska continued to roar amid a western heat wave. Okay? And a lot of people are of the opinion that the elites are doing this stuff. Okay? Because again, these devils are vicious. Now, let's get this particular video on it.
We're excited this weekend to introduce you to the latest team member here at Farm Journal, Haley Bickelhop. You will be seeing her quite a bit on the show. But Haley, to kick things off, you have been following just a heartbreaking story in Nebraska. We talked about it in news, but the wildfires are burning at last count 800,000 acres. What did you find out this week?
Well, Tyne, I'm just one of the members of our team that have spoke with a number of cattlemen in this area that have been impacted. I spoke with Glenna Shearfay. Her husband helps manage Rush Creek Ranch, which is north of Lisco, Nebraska. Now, she says that this photo that you see here on your screen was taken Thursday, March 12th at 8:30.
Ranchers hit hard. Ranchers have been hit hard. What did the prophecy say that Egypt would undergo? All right, that they that till the ground would mourn. Okay? And we've been seeing farmers just, you look up, see if this, farmers who voted for Trump are struggling with the tariffs. Hurt how Trump's tariffs affect U.S. farmers. See,
as a farmer, we get up one morning and you give Argentina, which is our second biggest competition in the world. They're the largest exporters of soybean meal in the world.
So if you've been watching the news and prophecies, we've covered that, but farmers have been betrayed. Okay? Because ultimately they're getting ready to cut you off. Okay? Hurt. Now, more hell, more plagues. 2 Esdras 15 and 27. For now are the plagues come upon the whole earth, and ye shall remain in them. They ain't going nowhere. For the Most High shall not deliver you because ye have sinned against him. And America has sinned against the Lord big time. And y'all think God's going to bless America? No. Ain't no blessing coming to America from the Most High. And you Jakes who are in that Christian church fighting against the Israelites, You're fighting against Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. Not to say every camp is right, because you got a lot of Israelites with some bugged out ideologies. You know, the thinking they can be saved by the law. All right, not anteing up on faith, not pushing prophecy, wanting to be rub elbows with the world. So yeah, a lot of these Israelite camps are off, but in the grand scheme of things, the Lord set up the prophets in these last days to teach the truth, and all y'all have done is mock, joining hand in hand with the enemy to come against us. Meanwhile, your country is being plagued. The world is being plagued. Why is that? Just like in ancient Egypt, Moses and Aaron were responsible for speaking those plagues upon Egypt. And the same thing is happening here. We ain't got to go light no fire. We ain't got to go, start no war. We can speak it and it happens. See? Which is a form of spiritual power, man.
At night, and it was about 14 miles north of their facilities, and it was as close as she could get to the flames. Shirfei says that as far as she knows, all of their horses, cattle, and buildings are fine, but their land was hit hard. Now, their camp is on about 12,000 acres, and about 300 can only hold cattle right now. Ag Day's Clinton Griffith spoke with another cattleman, Audra Allen, from Whitewater Ranch in Arthur County. Allen says that these fires will have a significant impact on the rural economy and the cattle markets.
We fight fires every year. It's part of living.
So we got the Passover coming up. Okay, it would be wise to go ahead and get your lamb now. The Apostle Ramlav gave us that order a couple of weeks ago. Like he foresaw it. Like about 3 weeks ago, he said this. And brothers are already on it. We're already on it. We got on it. But you brothers out there, and whoever's listening, go, it'd be wise because the prices are getting ready to be jacked up. Okay? Fill up when your tank is on half tank. Don't wait till you get to E. Because we're living in different times now. Prudence is not wicked. Okay? So, just something through the spirit, man.
Living in the grasslands and the prairie, we fight fire all the time, but never have we seen anything of this magnitude. We had an exceptionally wet year this past summer, and so the amount of fuel that's in the pasture has just been unreal.
If people want to help, what do you need?
The biggest thing we need is hay. Guys got to feed their cows. Fence posts, fence. I mean, I think we replaced fence last year, and I think we're up to,
And cows' respiratory systems are very sensitive, so this smoke is going to mess up a lot of the cattle. Cattle, period. Okay, I remember reading that somewhere. Let's see. Cattle have sensitive respiratory smoke kind of let's see. Cattle possess a highly sensitive small capacity respiratory system, making them vulnerable to wildfire smoke and air pollution. Boom. I don't just be talking. This is through the spirit, but this can affect them even if the fire doesn't necessarily burn them.
$22,000 an acre, $22,000 a square mile to be able to replace that fence. And so the hedge posts that are needed, the wire, just the hay and the forages to be able to feed these cows are the biggest need that I can see right now.
The Nebraska football program is helping out with that need. All the ticket proceeds from their spring game will be donated to wildfire relief efforts. Now, if you would like to help those...
That ain't gonna heal Babylon.
Fertilizer and fuel, two inputs causing price issues for farmers.
That fertilizer cost on an acre of wheat is about 40% of your production cost. And that's going up 30% now.
What the administration says they're doing to help in the short run. But why one state corn group says fertilizer is a much bigger problem that needs to be addressed.
Starting in about 2010, there was a divergence, and it started to follow the price of corn. When corn went up, nitrogen fertilizer, phosphate fertilizer, potash, all of them followed it up.
From wildfires in Nebraska to a blinding blizzard in the upper Midwest, weather is wreaking havoc on livestock producers.
Milk haulers literally
pulled their drivers and just stopped running.
And remembering a true agricultural legend whose legacy spans across multiple generations.
So as you can see, hell. All right. Let's get the book of Second Esdras, the 5th chapter. All right. In the 7th verse, it says, "And the Sodomite sea shall cast out fish." And this is the Sodomite sea. Okay. The people represent the sea. All right. Fish being cast out of the sea represents the waters are polluted. And the people are polluted, and it's bringing forth nothing but death. Okay. Nothing but death is being brought forth, man. Out of this world. Everywhere you look, it's just death. Death is celebrated. Death this, death that. Everything's death. Everything's dying. Children missing. Everything's messed up. The food's messed up. The air's polluted. All of the conspiracy theories over the years have came out to be true. This is the Sodomite sea. And what happened to Sodom and Gomorrah? "And make a noise in the night," and we are in the night. Okay? This is darkness, man, which many have not known, but they shall hear the voice thereof, the philosophies of this world, the wine of Babylon, man. Okay? And it's come to a point where now the earth is spewing this kingdom out. "There shall be a confusion in many places, and the fire shall be often sent out again." All right. Wildfires have been at the forefront of the news, especially over the last 10 years. I mean, every other month. A lot of it is suppressed, but it's all kind of confusion. And fires are being sent often. "The wild beasts shall change their place, and menstruous women shall bring forth monsters," man. Okay. So I asked here, how the Nebraska wildfires could it affect the food supply chain? It says the Nebraska wildfires aren't just a local disaster, because Nebraska is very important to the U.S. food supply. They can ripple through the entire U.S. food supply chain over time. Okay? Immediate impact: loss of grazing land. Beef supply hit first. Over 800,000 plus acres of land have burned. Nebraska is a top cattle producing state. You see that? So this is all strategic. Okay? And those burned acres fed tens of thousands of cows. So that's why the lady was saying we need hay. What this means is less grass, all right, less natural feed. Ranchers must buy expensive feed to sell cattle early, or sell cattle early, sell it. Okay, shrinking cattle herds. Fires are delaying herd expansion and recovery. The U.S. supply is already a multi-decade low. Result: fewer cattle going forward, beef prices rise. Feed shortages affect more than beef. Fires destroy hay, pasture, fencing, and infrastructure. Ranchers compete for feed. The impact, all right, that impacts diet, dairy, milk, cheese, poultry, eggs, chicken, pork. You shouldn't be eating that anyway. Supply chain disruptions, relocation costs. Ranchers are being forced to move cattle out of the state. Truck in feed and water. Instead of it coming from the land, now you got to bring it in. This affects transportation costs with the gas going up. Process delays, meat plants, which over the years, okay, there's been a significant amount of food manufacturing places burned down, especially during the COVID era. Okay, and it's not a conspiracy. Okay? And around 2020 to about 2024, we've seen a lot of that. Train derailments. Okay? Experts say there is no coincidence to credence to recent internet rumors that a number of fires that at food processing plants across the country are suspicious. No, we are not setting food processing plants on fire, because there was a point where every week you see them being put on fire. See, and it didn't have immediate effect, right? But over time, everything we see happening is going to be a detriment to Egypt. Okay? Long-term and land recovery delays. Okay? Burn rangeland may take 1 to 3 years to recover. That's critical. That's not a one-season issue. It slows future production, all right, and current supply. Compounding factors that make it worse. The wildfires are hitting at the same time as drought across the cattle regions, all right, rising fertilizer and fuel costs, all right, combined effect, farmers produce less, costs rise across the board, food inflation becomes more likely. Okay? So let's get the book of Joel, the first chapter, in the 15th verse. Alas for the day. All right? What's the word alas mean? Forget. Like just like expressing pain. The day of the Lord is associated with pain. Alas for the great day of the Lord. All right, the day of the Lord is at hand, and as a destruction from the Almighty shall it come. Is not the meat cut off before our eyes? Okay, we're living under a ruler that says natural meats are disrupting the earth. We need synthetic meats. Okay? Farmers are just catching hell. That was once the backbone of society. Now they don't need them. They're doing away with them worldwide. The prophecy said that ultimately these nations would beat their plowshares into swords. Basically, agriculture would be the last thing on their mind. Everybody's preparing for war or to protect themselves. Okay? Is not the meat cut off before our eyes? Yea, joy and gladness from the house of our power. The seed is rotting under their clods. GMO seeds, Terminator seeds. What is a Terminator seed? Okay, let's ask. What is a Terminator? Terminator seeds are genetically modified crops engineered to produce sterile seeds. Meaning you have a son and he ain't gonna never have a son again. He ain't gonna have a daughter. He ain't gonna have you ain't gonna have no offspring. It's not meant to prosper, as Genesis, the first chapter, told us. Everything would have a seed within it, and it could produce after its kind. That process stops under this devil's Terminator seed, preventing farmers from saving and replanting them. This technology forces farmers to purchase new seeds every season. So in a sense, he makes himself God, ensuring corporate control over seed supply. See that? This man is the devil.
Hello, Suresh. Can I explain any agricultural technology?
No, absolutely. Fuck not. You can't. We're gonna go somewhere else. Hell no. Got to be something better than that.
Terminator seeds. Sounds like science fiction, but it is real. In 1998, Monsanto patented a seed genetically engineered to be sterile, which means you cannot save it, plant it again, or pass it down. Every season, farmers must pay Monsanto again for the right to grow food. They promised in 1999 not to sell it, but they kept the patents, kept the technology, kept the monopoly, because it is not just about crops. It is about control.
And I wonder who owns Monsanto? Who owns Monsanto? See who that is. We'll see if it's Pookie Ray Ray. Owned by the German pharmaceutical and life sciences company Bayer. Remember Bayer put AIDS and HIV in their aspirin? It's not medical information. Let's see here. I need some names. Yeah, of course, Bill and Melinda own shares in it. Let's see here. I need some names. German. Ain't that where those small hats came from? I need some names. Let's see. Well, this was the founder. Let's just see who was a CEO. Who's a Monsanto CEO? Hugh Grant. Let's go to Hugh Grant. Look at this nigga. Look at him. Where Hugh Grant? Let's see this nigga, man. Hold up. Salakia. Bear with me in my folly. Hugh Grant. Let's just. Hugh Grant. No. Monsanto. Look at this dude. Through. See if he's a small head. No, it doesn't say. Scotland, UK, most likely a small hat. But it ain't niggas responsible for Terminator seeds. It ain't the northern tribes. Anyway, this man is the complete devil, man. Joel 1:17. The seed is rotten under their clods. And Monsanto is like the mafia too, man. They're super wicked. The seed is rotten under their clods. The garners are laid desolate. The barns are broken down. The corn is withered. Corn is absolutely destroyed, man. One of the most important things and all of the necessities that we need, he's poisoned it, man. Put a patent on it and produces nothing but destruction, man. That goes against your system. That's why you can't lose weight. That's why you can't get healthy. The corn is withered. Okay? How do the beasts groan? The herds of the cattle are perplexed because they have no pasture. All right? Yea, the flocks of the sheep are made desolate. O Lord, to thee will I cry, for fire have devoured the pastures of the wilderness, and flame have burned all the trees of the field. The beasts of the field cry also unto thee, for the rivers of the waters are dried up. Fire has devoured the pastures of the wilderness. So these prophecies are coming to pass like never before, man. Okay? Things that happened back then, we're witnessing the same things happen in our lifetime, man. Okay? So these fires are going to take some very, very big effects in a bigger in the grand scheme of things, man. Okay? What you might notice over time, beef gets more expensive, dairy prices creep up, chicken and pork follow, restaurants raise prices. We're already witnessing that. That's why it's best to just cook at home. Grocery bills increase gradually, not overnight. Bottom line, Nebraska wildfires hit a key part of America's food system, cattle, country. Even if crops weren't the main loss, the damage to livestock and feed infrastructure can create a slow nationwide ripple effect. Okay? So nothing but pure hell is being put on Babylon the Great, man. Okay? So we're going to keep our eye on this. Meaning, even if it disappears, it's going to be it's going to be more things that are going to creep up and destroy this place. Okay? Another happening that a lot of people ain't talking about is that Cuba is in the dark. Cuba is in the dark. U.S. oil squeeze triggers grid collapse. Like we told you, sanctions lead to people starving and catching hell and dying. Cuba is heavily sanctioned. U.S. oil squeeze has a lot to do with what's going on in Cuba. Okay? Blackouts in Cuba. Okay? Pure hell. See if we can get a video on that. I think I saved a few.
Nosotros tenemos este cargador que cuando viene la corriente lo ponemos a cargar rapidísimo para cargar los celulares de nosotros. Que con los celulares de nosotros es que nosotros podemos por lo menos tener luz en la casa. Es mucho la oscuridad, igual que en los cuartos allá arriba es oscuro. Cuando apagamos todo es oscuro. Entonces tenemos que nosotros encender para ver con los teléfonos. Esta linternita la tenemos por si acaso. Se gasta muy rápido, pero bueno, por lo menos nos sirve para alumbrar la noche.
Catching hell. Okay? Meanwhile, Trump is saying, we'll just take it. Trump just said, we'll take it. Let me pull that up, Salakia.
These people are banging on pots and pans in Havana to protest the widespread blackout that has left 10 million without power. In the context of the energy crisis and the 3-month U.S. oil blockade, the Cuban government has announced that it will open itself to foreign investment from Cubans in diaspora.
We are talking about the possibility of allowing Cubans who reside abroad, even if they do not hold actual residency in Cuba, to participate in or own private companies in Cuba.
One of the sectors available to backing would be the country's energy infrastructure, which is in dire need of updating. The move is a source of hope for some residents.
If it is an opening to North American capital, it is welcome, because everything that is for development is good.
If they want to come and make an investment here to help the country's economy, I don't think that should be a problem at all.
Those part of the largest population of Cubans in diaspora in Miami are less enthusiastic.
You can't do business under communism.
I think we do want to invest there, but only once there's economic and political change.
According to U.S. President Donald Trump, that change could come soon.
I do believe I'll be having the honor of taking Cuba. That'd be good. That's a big honor.
Taking Cuba.
Taking Cuba in some form, yeah. Taking Cuba. I mean, whether I free it, take it, I think I could do anything I want with it. You want to know the truth. They're a very weakened nation.
A U.S. official and a source privy to the ongoing talks between Havana and Washington confirmed on Tuesday that the Trump administration is looking for the Cuban President Miguel Diaz-Canel to leave power.
Oh, boy. So I asked here, you know, what world events are leading to what's happening in Cuba? Okay? It says it's basically a lot of things happening at the same time, especially in geopolitics, sanctions, and energy markets. Collapse of Venezuela's oil support. For years, Cuba depended heavily on oil for Venezuela. Under agreements tied to leaders like Hugo Chavez, Cuba received subsidized oil. What changed? Venezuela's oil economy collapsed due to mismanagement, failing oil production, sanctions, yada, yada, yada. 2, U.S. sanctions tightening, especially after 2017. The United States significantly increased pressure on Cuba. Sanctions tightened. Fuel shipments, shipping companies delivering oil. Policies intensified under Trump. Result, fewer tanks willing to deliver oil to Cuba, higher cost, and limited access to global fuel markets. The Russian-Ukraine war, all right, and so forth, man. So it's a lot of things that are leading to that. Cuba's lack of foreign currency. This is tied to global tourism, yada, yada, yada. Bottom line, Cuba's oil crisis is really a global geopolitical crisis hitting a vulnerable country. It lost its main supplier, Venezuela. It's restricted by sanctions, all right? And it's competing in a tighter, more expansive global energy market. So while these wars we see and rumors of wars are happening, all right, it's putting hell on people, all right, all over the world, man. Okay? Let's listen to a little bit of this and we'll get a few more and get up out of here.
The fucking Trump Kennedy Center.
This is off of Secular Talk.
As more Marines. So this is a red flag. This is red alert because I haven't seen them do this unless they're actually going to make them fight. Okay? Just like when there was the military buildup around Venezuela, I said they're doing that because they're going to attack.
So Trump, they talking about now deploying Marines and troops to Iran. So all of the hell we seeing, it's not going to stop, man.
I think the same thing is going on here. Either the decision has already been made to use ground troops, or it's going to be a last-minute decision, and they're likely to do it, again, because of the massive buildup in the region. So that is absolutely terrifying news. Needless to say, this, of course, would be wildly illegal and unconstitutional. It's illegal to be as deep in this war as we are, even just using air power. But at this point, ground troops absolutely is grounds for impeachment. And I'm pulling my hair out that nobody's talking about impeachment. Nobody's talking about removal or arrest. That's what needs to happen. I mean, there's no other way around it. We also have this news. Apparently, Trump is mulling the U.S. military taking Karg Island with boots on the ground. Now, Karg Island is the place, this little island that's Iranian, where about 90% of their oil leaves from. Trump already bombed over there, but he bombed the non-oil infrastructure. Well, now they're considering using ground troops to take over the entire thing. The thing that's extra terrifying about this is if they do it, I think the Iranians will just totally blow up the island. The mindset will be, well, if we can't have it, we're not going to let you fucking have it. And so they'll just blow up the entire thing, kill hundreds or thousands of U.S. troops. It would be an embarrassing military defeat, the likes of which the U.S. military probably has never experienced before. And it would be at that moment that I would be extra afraid of Donald Trump using nukes. Okay, so again, I don't know how many times I could say it. Impeach him, remove him, arrest him. This is so fucking out of hand, and it drives me crazy that people don't realize just how through the looking glass we are. Okay, we also have from ABC News here. So the other day, they were able to take out, the Iranians were able to take out at least one F-35 stealth fighter jet. Now, we were told previously, oh, these things are not even detectable on radar. It's impossible to knock these things down. They got one for sure. It cost roughly $100 million to build one, by the way. $100 million just up in smoke like that, okay? I believe the pilot survived. But, and there's even speculation that there was a second one that got knocked out of the air. So when I tell you that they are just Draxing them sklounced, the Iranians are destroying the Americans here, we were totally unprepared. It was classic imperial hubris and arrogance. We underestimated our enemy, and it is fucking backfiring colossally. And funny enough, early in the day, yesterday, Trump said, we're doing great. They have no Navy, they have no warships, they have no planes, they have no nothing, and they can't get our planes. And then literally that same day is when they knocked at least one F-35 out of the sky. So you are not getting the truth from Secretary of War Crimes Pete Kegsbreth. You're not getting the truth from Donald Trump. They are in just full-on fucking propaganda mode. And everybody knows it. Everybody can see it at this point. All right, we also have this news as well. We're just learning that at least 10, not 5, radar systems have been hit by the Iranians. So in many instances, we are flying blind in the Middle East. I guarantee you, they did not expect the Iranians to be able to get that many of our radar systems. Also, when you hear the Trump regime say, we knocked out their Air Force, we knocked out a lot of their tanks and shit like that, those were decoys. We hit decoys, like literal inflatable tanks on some fucking Looney Tunes ass shit. Like, that's what's actually happening. Like, again, people, if you follow this stuff closely, you are face-palming on a daily basis. Now, as all of this is going on, this war is spiraling out of control. Don't even get me started on the economy. The economy is barbecue chicken to the max. There's about to be oil and gas shortages. The prices are going to spike. You're going to have, like, work from home issued at some point in the United States. Yeah. It might be like the 1970s where you can only get gas on certain days and there's massive long lines and they have no plan to open the Strait of Hormuz back up. So we're stuck with this for an extended period of time. We are going to be talking about a Donald Trump Great Depression, okay? At the same time that's happening, the Treasury Department is looking to mint a coin that has Donald Trump's picture on it. A $1 coin with Donald Trump's portrait, his face, in 24-karat gold. Okay? This is what this guy actually cares about, by the way. He wants his name on roads. He wants it on bridges. He wants it on airports. He wants it on the fucking Trump Kennedy Center. He wants to build the Arc de Trump. Also, the White House announced that Trump is taking a 4-day weekend in Palm Beach as this war spirals out of control. So he's going to be fucking golfing as the global economy implodes and we're plunging into World War III. Just absolutely astonishing. We also have this, quote, sources close to the president have told Zateo that on separate occasions over the past year, Trump has talked to longtime advisors about what it would take to officially make his birthday a national federal holiday. So again, I repeat myself, this is what he cares about. He cares about the Epstein Memorial Ballroom. He cares about the Trump Kennedy Center. He cares about trying to force a legacy on this country and like mandate that you fucking worship him on some Kim Jong-un type shit. Okay, that's what it is. And so as all these problems are mounting, he's like doing the most embarrassing shit imaginable and trying to suck himself off more and do self-aggrandizement. It really is incredible. The narcissism of this man needs to be studied because it is historic how malignant this narcissism is.
Isaiah 19. Okay. And 2. And I will set the Egyptians against Egyptians, and they will fight everyone against his brother, and everyone against his neighbor, city against city, and kingdom against kingdom. And the spirit of Egypt shall fail in the midst thereof. And I will destroy the counsel thereof, and they will seek to the idols, and to the charmers, and to those who have familiar spirits. Okay? It's over, man. And the Egyptians will I give into the hand of a cruel lord, a fierce king shall rule over them, saith the Lord of hosts. See that? And we believe this prophecy is of Trump, which that's leading to, collapse. I will hand Egypt over to a hard, cruel master. A fierce king will rule them. Nero Trump, says the Lord of heaven's armies. The waters of the Nile will fail to rise. The floods of the shield of the riverbed will be parched and dry. The canals of the Nile will dry up, and the streams of Egypt will stink, while rotting seeds and rust. This is economic collapse. The greenery, which is your produce along the riverbank, and all the crops along the river will dry up and blow away. Fishermen will lament for lack of work. Those who cast hooks into the Nile, which the modern day Nile is the Mississippi River, which, okay, let's just ask here. Is the Mississippi River drying up? How does this affect the economy? Food supply. It's not drying up, but it's experiencing low water levels more than often. Ongoing drought. Okay, why this matters so much? It's not just a river. It's one of the most important arteries in the world. Just like the Nile was important to ancient Egypt, the Mississippi River is important, okay, to this modern Egypt. It moves about 60% of U.S. grain exports: corn, soybeans, wheat, fertilizer, coal. All right. What happens when the levels drop? Shipping slows down. Barges can't carry loads. Supply chain bottlenecks. Farmers get squeezed. All right. Let's see here. See here. Yeah. Mississippi River is drying up. Disruption in supply.
The Mississippi River is drying up. Water levels are approaching record lows. Barges are getting stuck on sandbars in unprecedented numbers. Many ports and docks no longer have water deep enough for commercial boats to safely reach them. And this is a problem for the whole country.
The Mississippi River, a lot of people just think of it as this beautiful, large, historic river in the middle of the country, but really it serves as a transportation highway for a lot of industry.
The river is a critical shipping route for
If you do like a side-by-side with the Mississippi River, all right, Mississippi River and Nile River comparison, similarities, it shows you. Let's see if there's an image. It shows you they both pretty much ran through, let's see. It did the same, it had the same, process. And you know what people are going to say, well, this is the real Egypt, you know. But here's something here. Let's see what this says. Okay, the fourth longest river in the world is the Mississippi River. The longest river in the world, all right, is the Nile. But pretty much they were just, they mimic each other because this is the modern day Egypt. Okay.
Agriculture, oil, and building materials. And the Mississippi watershed, which includes all the creeks, streams, and lakes that feed into the Mississippi River, is the largest in the U.S.
Farmers in Iowa, they harvest their soybeans and they put them on barges and send them down to the port below New Orleans, and then it's sent to China. Chemicals are processed in Louisiana and sent upriver to the Ohio to factories in Pittsburgh. The central part of this country thrives in part on industry moving goods and services up and down the river.
October is traditionally a month of low water on the Mississippi, but this year, the river's water levels are approaching low.
This was just 3 days ago. Mississippi River Mayor warns AI, fuel costs, and drought are straining key waterway. Okay? Drought is shrinking Mississippi River. And again, these things are going to, this is prophecy. See? Isaiah 19:5, the waters of the Nile will fail to rise and flood the fields. The riverbed will be parched and dry. The canals of the Nile will dry up, and the streams of Egypt will stink with rotting seeds and rushes. The greenery along the riverbank and all the crops along the river will dry up. Fishermen will lament for lack of work. Those who cast hooks into the Nile will groan. All those who use nets will lose heart. There will be no flax for the harvesters, no thread for the weavers. They will be in despair, and all the workers will be sick at heart. What fools are the officials of Zoan? Okay, and who are the officials of Zoan? Who you have in your White House? The modern day Zoan, okay, is Washington, D.C. Okay, they're not trying to fix the economy and fix the earth. They're going to war, stealing land. Their best counsel to the king of Egypt is stupid and wrong. See? Through. So this place is going downhill, man.
All right, we also have this. Trump posted the following on Live Social, quote, "Without the USA, NATO is a paper tiger. They didn't want to join the fight to stop a nuclear-powered Iran. Now that fight is militarily won. What? With very little danger for them. They complain about the high oil prices they are forced to pay, but don't want to help open the Strait of Hormuz. A simple military maneuver that is the single reason for the high oil prices. So easy for them to do with so little risk. Cowards. And we will remember President Donald J. Trump." So I don't know what the fuck he's talking about when he says, oh, with this one weird trick Europe would do, we would open up the Strait. What the fuck are you talking about? That's not true at all. That's total bullshit. And also, yet again, brilliant time to be like berating people who are nominally your allies when they're already fucking sick of the U.S., tired of our shit, and clearly on the brink of just totally abandoning us and, you know, dropping the petrodollar, dropping the dollar as the world reserve currency. More on that later, too, by the way, because now we have hard empirical data that shows that people are absolutely positively done with us. Our allied countries are absolutely positively done with us. Okay, on that point, it looks like the unipolar world has totally crumbled. We're now in a multipolar world. Iran is establishing a system for friendly ships to pass near this place called Larak Island. And that means that Iran is taking full control over the Strait of Hormuz. They might tax people, different countries to go through there. Obviously, they're allowing Chinese ships to get through. They're allowing their own ships to get through, but they're blocking everybody else. So they have a stranglehold on the global economy right now because Donald Trump and Benjamin Netanyahu, the axis of Epstein, are fucking total incompetent idiots. And they overestimated our abilities and underestimated the Iranians' abilities, okay? That's where we are right now. We also have a terrifying warning from Professor Mearsheimer. He was on Breaking Points the other day. Highly recommend you guys go check out that interview. And he explained how the war with Iran will trigger a global famine. With the Strait of Hormuz blocked, the world is losing its fertilizer supply. That's going to lead to mass food shortages and hyperinflation and millions of deaths. We told you on the show the other day, I think it's like 45 million deaths that are forecast, I believe, in the developing world, okay? The guys, like, hello, wakey, wakey. Again, it's so crazy to me. It really does feel like the early days of COVID, where, like, a lot of people naively think in the back of their minds, like, I'll be okay, but everybody else might be fucked, or people in other countries might be fucked. Now, those gas shortages you see in developing countries, they're going to be here in a matter of time, son. They're going to be here in a matter of time. All right. We also have the International Energy Agency is this morning suggesting people should work from home, avoid air travel, and drive at lower speeds to help tackle the impending oil shortages. So the warnings are coming. The warnings are coming. We have the World Health Organization is currently making plans for potential nuclear annihilation and nuclear winter. I need you to stop and think about that one for me for a second. We have plans for nuclear winter brought about by Trump and Netanyahu, the axis of Epstein, before we have impeachment talk in the U.S., before we have arrest talk here in the U.S. Very functional system that we have ourselves here.
Through.
Normal.
Through. Okay. Fireballs in the sky.
What exactly are these things if they're not meteors? Are we talking about aliens, human technology? What exactly is going on? We're talking about multiple of these things that started being seen around February 28th, and it's still ongoing. And then there's this.
People told me that they felt this wave literally go through them. At least 3 people told me they felt this, that these waves kind of went right through their body.
So it's too many of them all at once. It started around February 28th. People are feeling an energy wave when they see these things, and they sometimes hear loud booms. Get this, they're also seeing these things maneuvering as if they're being controlled by something.
Yo.
So I decided to go deeper into this because it's possible that these things are just meteors, and I think they are. But what if they aren't? What if there's something going on that suggests that these things are something else?
Alúmbrala otra vez. Wow, miren. Oh my goodness.
Around the same time frame that this all started happening, I found out that several people were reporting bizarre sightings in the sky and also waking up with strange marks in their bodies. Some airports were also being shut down for mysterious reasons.
On her breath, at least from United Airlines, we're going out of Denver because of this crazy situation.
Also, sirens are going off in certain cities.
Non-stop, all day.
And what appears to be some sort of glitch in the energy grid started happening a couple of days ago in Mexico and in Ohio, where one of these fireballs was seen a few days later.
So this is Cleveland, Ohio. 14.
The mystery drones also seem to be back. So is this all just a coincidence, or is there something going on? Let's try to find out. Let's begin with the basic.
Are these the chariots of the Lord? Is it Esau Edom's left-handed technology? Either way it goes, it's a sign and a wonder.
Would be the multiple mysterious objects that people are seeing falling from the sky. I guess it all starts with this video posted on February 28th in Maryland. This is where I believe all these sightings started happening. Wow, I see many of them. Here I'm seeing like what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, at least 8 of these objects. And again, they look like meteors, but I'm guessing that this is not normal. These can't be meteors, so what exactly is going on? So March 17th, this account posts this. Woman captured a mysterious meteor-like object streaking across the sky in Dallas. Let's take a look at this. Oh, wow.
One day leaving from camp, I seen something like that, and I went to record it, and it disappeared. So it had to be a chariot. Look at that.
This is too.
Also posted on March 18th by this account, we see something similar in Australian sky.
Yo.
Yeah, to me, this one looks more like a meteor than the previous one, but still, strange how this is all happening around the same week. March 17th, this account posts this. Garden Grove, California, what the hell is going on?
Wait, SpaceX, or I mean, it's from your from the business.
Like the best meteor I've ever fucking seen.
Are we watching a meteor right now?
I mean, I've never seen anything in the sky that looks like that.
Yeah. It's pretty,
well, it's pretty strange. Changing color now.
Yeah, it's SpaceX. It's going up, so.
When you say do you mean it's Starlink? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. That's actually a nice observation. It's going up, so it must be SpaceX. I'm not sure if that's how it works, but it's a nice observation.
It's a rocket. Oh, that might have been a meteor, dude.
Oh my gosh, it's gone.
It just disappeared.
It was a meteor burned out.
It literally burned out. Yeah.
Wow.
That was like maybe the best. So I'm pretty sure that, yes, in this case, it could be SpaceX, but still pretty strange how it disappears and vanishes out of nowhere. Also, March 17th in Pennsylvania and Ohio, thousands of residents saw this and then heard a loud boom. Let's take a look at this.
Yeah. What's going on?
And this is the loud boom that people heard in Ohio a few minutes after that. Wow. So whatever this thing is, it shook the entire neighborhood and lasted for a few seconds. I'm not sure if that...
Yeah. Let's get second Ezra's 9 in the GNT. Wow. There's a lot happening, man. Second Ezra's 9 and 2. Let's start at 1. He answered, consider all these things very carefully. When you see some of the signs I have told you about to have appeared, you will know that the time has come when the Most High will bring judgment on the world he created. There will be earthquakes, national rebellions, international intrigues. What's an intrigue? Interest, things that fascinate people, things that arouse one's curiosity. Unstable leaders and confused rulers. When you see these things, you will know that they are what the Most High spoke about since the beginning of creation. Okay? The beginning and end of everything that happens in the world are clear. The same is true for the world above. Wonders and miracles show the beginnings of events, and mighty signs show how they end. So we're witnessing a lot, man. Okay? Sirach 36 and 2. Send thy fear upon the nations that seek not after thee. Lift up thy hand against the strange nations, and let them see thy power. As thou wast sanctified in us before them, so thou be magnified among them before us. Let them know that thee, as we have known thee, that there is no God but thee. Show new signs, make other strange works. Glorify thy hand and thy right arm, that they may set forth thy wondrous works. Raise up indignation, pour out wrath, take away the adversary, and destroy the enemy. Make the time short, remember the covenant, and let them declare thy wonderful works. Let him that escape it be consumed by the fire and rage, and let them that perish, that oppress the people. Smite and sunder the heads of the rulers of the heathen that say there is none but we. Let's say in Isaiah 47, I am, and there is none else beside these. But we'll get more into these things. I just wanted to, tap into a few things that are happening. Hopefully I'll edify it. On to the next. Shalom.